Hello everyone, today we're at the Seattle Boat Show and we're now inside the GC showroom trailer. Today we're going to be recording a tutorial video on how to troubleshoot the E10 fault code on the Bison heaters. Alright guys, so here we have our Bison 2000A, the smallest heater in our Bison series. And this is the controller for the 2000A. And then down here, we have the combustion intake, the fuel intake, the exhaust. And then down here, we have the fuel pump, pumping fuel into the heater, the fuel pump connector that's communicating with the heater's ECU. And we have this blue line and the fuel filter. And then as we work our way down, we have the fuel tank. Now we're gonna fire up the Bison 2008, and something tells me it may not run right. Alright guys, so we tried starting up the Bison 2008, and sure enough, after 2 attempts of starting up, the heater completely stopped. And now we're gonna see if we have any fault codes on the digital timer. So as with the newer plateau timer, you simultaneously press the left and right arrow to go into the fault menu, and sure enough we have a 1E10. So this is a failure to ignite fault code. We tried to fire up the Bison 2008 and we got the E10 fault code. And as many of you know, in order for combustion to happen, we need 3 major components. One is air, second is fuel, and third one is spark. Let's look at the first component, the air component. So down here, this black pipe is the combustion air inlet, and let's make sure it is not clogged. After we check the intake, and if the intake is free, we will now check the exhaust to see if anything is blocking the flow out of the heater. Okay, now that we've ruled out the air intake and air exhaust, and we've also checked the glow pin, now let's look at the fuel delivery system. The first thing that we want to check regarding the fuel delivery system is the fuel level in your fuel tank. So as you can see, the fuel level in the fuel tank is sufficient. So now let's try to fire up the heater again and closely observe the fuel line to see if there are any air bubbles. So as you can see in our fuel line, the fuel is completely drained from the fuel lines, so which is why we have a failure to ignite for our heater. So now let's try to prime the fuel lines to see if that resolves the issue. So first you navigate to the clock symbol on the very right, and when it is flashing, simultaneously press the left and right arrow, and now you will see P1. Use the right arrow to go to P2, hit OK, and it will say FU, which means it's going to start priming the fuel line. So now that you don't see any air bubbles in the fuel line, let's quickly press the bottom left button to jump out of priming function, and the fuel pump will stop cooking shortly. Alright, so now that we've primed the fuel lines, let's fire up the heater again to see if we can produce any heat. So we were just on the clock icon symbol. Now use the right arrow once to get to the squiggly line, the heat icon, and press OK. So as you can see, our heater is fully fired up. We have warm air out of the air outlet. So the drain fuel line was the cause of our E10. In rare cases, your E10 may also be triggered by low voltage. But we know that's not the case because we have a fully charged battery, and also a low voltage will produce its own fault code. Thank you guys for watching today's tutorial on how to solve an E10 problem with your heater. I hope you find this video helpful. And please watch the video to review any sections that you didn't understand previously. And do not call my number on the screen unless you've checked everything that is mentioned in this video. Thank you.